Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Dessert Men Live. Once again, I am joined by my brother in the now, Aiden Kossick.
Ooh, that was a
How you
weird
doing?
smile. I'm good. Really exciting news that kicked off our day today, which I was happy about. Eager to get into that. We've actually got a lot to talk about this week, which is kind of cool. I didn't think that we would. Um, Ever since this pandemic started, news has not been the way it used to be. You know what I mean? Where like big bombs would drop throughout like the whole week. Now it just feels like every now and then there's like little scattered doses because obviously like projects aren't moving at the same pace that they used to be, uh, given our current state of the world. So I'm excited that we got a lot to talk about. Um, yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah, so our big story, our lead story, dropped this morning. HBO Max has found their guy Gardner. Um, it's described as a lead, but as you read like the synopsis of the series and how the series is kind of supposed to work, I don't
Yeah.
think that it's a lead role necessarily. I also don't necessarily think that um, Guy is the lead.
No.
Um, because it's they've talked about how they're gonna cover like Alan Scott in like the 1940s, and uh, they're gonna cover other Green Lanterns that we are familiar with from the comics, as well as some new lanterns.
Yeah.
So like, I don't think that Guy's gonna be the lead in the traditional sense of this. Um, and also, I'm not super familiar with the actor that they cast because I'm not a fan of like American Horror Story or like
Yeah.
that
Okay.
like the series that he's been
Me
in
neither,
like
but I watch
previous.
a lot.
I'm not I'm not familiar with his work. Looking at pictures of him, I can see like the Guy Gardner energy.
Hmm.
Like I can
Yeah.
definitely see that. Um,
I'm
so
pumped.
I'm yeah
I like this actor a
I'm
lot.
excited for it. I'm not a huge fan of Guy as a lantern, but like
Nah.
cool. Like he's far from my favorite lantern. I mean, he's
Ooh, do you have that really cool Guy Gardner one that I sent you in front of you?
the picture.
Nah, the comic.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have that?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I like if you look at the cover of this comic, like this actor gives off that energy
yeah.
if you have it.
I do have it. It is.
Well, while he's looking for it, what I'll
Is it?
say, I'm a big fan.
It's just the guy one, right? That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the
Yeah.
solo guy. Yeah. So
Yeah, just the
you're
solo
talking
guy.
about. Hold on. Let me
Yeah.
get it out
Like
of
look at that.
the lights.
I think that one was Guy's first like solo run with the Green Lantern series, so this is a good issue. But I'm a big fan of this actor. I'm not the biggest fan of American Horror Show either, or American Horror Story either. But I've watched a lot of it and I've seen him in it, and he's great. Definitely has a lot of douchebag energy that
Yeah.
is needed for Guy Gardner. Like Guy Gardner's like the Green Lantern everybody hates on because he's a douchebag, and I
Yeah.
mean that's kind of his character. It's charming in a sense. Um, at first when I saw this pop up on my timeline, I was like, oh boy, I really hope the lead of the series isn't Guy Gardner. But like as you were saying, like reading through the article and like seeing what the show is going to be about, I think we're going to get a lot of like perspective changes in the series where it's truly going to be the Green Lantern Court, where it's like it'll go to John Stewart one day, then the next day it'll go to Jessica Cruz, and then maybe the next episode it'll be Hal Jordan, and we'll kind of see how all those stories like play out together. And it's like a police force. They work together. You know what I mean? So I think we're going to see a lot of interaction between the lanterns. Um, I'm super hyped for this. I mean, a lot of you guys know Dwayne's favorite comic book character is Kyle Rayner, Green Lantern, who I'm expecting to see in the series. Um, I'm also a really big Green Lantern fan. John Stewart is my favorite Green Lantern. So I'm super excited for the series. I'm glad to see things are fine. Like the ball is finally getting to roll on the series after hearing about it for a while. So I'm just looking forward to the fact that now we're getting casting news. I'm expecting to hear a lot of Jessica Cruz news in the next coming weeks. Maybe some Jon Stewart news. I know Wayne T. Carr was cast as Green Lantern in Zack Snyder's Justice League, but was ultimately cut. So maybe he gets a second chance here and can come back and play Jon Stewart, which I would be eager to see, given I don't know too much about him. So I'm excited.
I mean, I'm hesitant to
On
say
him.
I mean as a whole. I mean, I'm hesitant as a whole because like it worries me a little bit that they're bringing so much into the show.
Yeah. Yeah. I can
but
totally understand that.
but I can also see how it will kind of work as they work through the history of the Lanterns and the Lantern Corps, but like that's a lot for them to bring into the show.
Yeah. Because it's not like whenever you got Green Lantern, you kicked off with all these Green Lanterns. You know what I mean? Like it started as like a singular story and following one character through his journey with the ring. And then later on, you expand out and you learn more about Oa and you learn more about the history of like the other lanterns. You know what I mean? You know, we've got like the blue lanterns, the orange lanterns, the yellow lanterns, you know, the red lantern. You know, like there's so many different aspects that you get into. Like it's kind of wild how like I know a lot of people meme on the fact that like Warner Brothers views DC as Batman, and it's because Batman has so much history within Gotham. There's so much to do. Like Gotham itself can be its own singular cinematic universe. You know, there's so much going on in there. And I feel like the same can be said for the Green Lanterns, where there is so much history going on with all those characters.
Yeah, I mean Gotham had a whole show without Batman.
A whole show without
Like
Batman,
a
bro.
whole
And then
show
even like
without Batman.
scratch the surface of shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's so much you can get into. So yeah, I mean I'm excited for this news. I think it's good casting. Looking forward to seeing the non-white people get casted though. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, I mean I'll be honest. There are certain lanterns that I just kind of don't want them to touch.
Which ones?
I kind of don't want them to touch Jessica Cruz because I think that they're gonna fuck it up.
Yeah, I do too. But I
Same
think it'll happen.
same with Simon and same with Kyle. Like I don't think that they're gonna do it well.
Yeah.
So I would just rather them not do it.
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
that's kind of like why I like it's kind of me feeling a little burnt probably after like the Green Lantern movie. Like
which is atrocious. It's not good
I mean,
at all.
I don't hate it as much as a lot of people do, but still what they did with it worries me if they're ever going to say, "Hey, we're going to do another Green Lantern movie." Now I'm going to be like, I don't know if you can do it. Cuz I've seen what you tried the first time and like that wasn't it. Like it was missing a lot of the core pieces of like what makes like Hal Jordan.
Yeah.
So like I don't want them to see that and like miss the mark with other characters as well. Cuz like at the core like you have to get the characters right with Green Lantern because the powers, especially when their powers are all essentially the same.
Yeah.
So
it all comes down to like how they use the ring, which was always like that's what made them so interesting. It's like everyone has different.
Yeah, what differentiates them is the way they fight, the way they use the ring, the things that they decide to make, their constructs are all different, and like those are the things that make the Green Lanterns interesting. And if you don't nail that, then the series isn't going to work.
Yeah. That's why, man, that would really suck if they fucked up Kyle's character. Because to me, he was always my favorite. He's not my favorite Green Lantern, but he was always my favorite ring user. If that makes sense. Because like the shit that he would do with his ring is stuff no one else would do, and it was always fun and unique. Like the dude to literally make like a Japanese anime style like mecha suit out of the Green Lantern ring, you know what I mean, just to fight a couple of thugs, you know, stuff like that was always really cool. But
like the stuff that they had Hal do in the movie is like stuff that Kyle would do, not
Yeah.
stuff that Hal would do.
Yeah, for sure.
Like making the Hot Wheels track to like save
Yeah.
the helicopter. Like
Hal would not do that.
Yeah, that's not something Hal would have just like extended a flat like energy.
Yeah, like a
beam
big
to catch
flat disc for them to like lay on.
Yeah,
and then like reel it in.
it. Yeah, like that's what Hal would do.
Yeah.
The Hot Wheels track, that's something Kyle would do.
Yeah. You know what I had? So like for a while, whenever I was like, and these scripts were horrible. Like I used to write scripts a lot in like middle school and high school, and I had written a script where it was essentially Lethal Weapon, but it's Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, and they've been paired up as Green Lanterns for a long time, and they get introduced to Kyle, and Kyle's kind of like the young hot shot dude who like wants to do it his own way, and like Hal and John are like, no, you're doing it all wrong, and like ultimately the movie is Kyle's, and he like kind of shows them what can be done with the ring, and like it ultimately leads to the fact that they're like, this kid has a lot of potential that like we didn't realize, and ultimately it would have gone down the line of like him becoming the White Lantern and like all that, and I thought it would have been a lot of fun, but I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do with the series exactly. All I know is it's Green Lantern, and I'm a sucker for Green Lantern, so
Yeah,
I just
same.
want to see good Green Lantern content. I'd love to see it like spin off into like, you know, like the Sinestro Corps, like, you know, that would be really cool. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, I am probably one of the biggest Green Lantern fans you'll find.
Oh yeah,
So I'm going to watch it. It's
your whole brand color is green.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's-
Like,
yeah, it's green. Yeah, it's green for a reason.
yeah,
But like, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna be there day one. But man, I'm worried to say the least.
I don't know if
But-
I'm worried. I'm hesitant. I'm very hesitant.
I mean, that's what I mean. It's like I'm not willing to say like, oh, this is gonna be great.
This is a lock for a
Yeah.
great series. Nope, I'm not even
Even-
close to that.
Even with as good as like Doom Patrol was, and like
Mm-hmm.
a Swamp Thing, and like even as good as those things were, I'm still not like confident in.
I'm not either, because it's
And
like,
Warner
to
Brothers
me, it's like
and-
we got Doom Patrol, Swamp Thing, Titans, and everything else to me just like falls way
Yeah.
under, and I'm just
not,
like, I don't
not
know.
confident enough yet in what they're doing.
Yeah.
But
If it's anything like Titans, count me the fuck out. I hate that show. For anyone who saw my thread this week, I fucking love the Teen Titans. That is not the Teen Titans. You missed me with that shit.
yeah, yeah. Let's
Nope.
let's not go down that rabbit hole.
Let's get away from it
We're
before I
gonna
get
keep
angry.
we're gonna keep on going with casting news, and we had Dominique Fishback joins Anthony Ramos in the new as the co-lead of the new Transformers film. I'm really excited about this.
Yeah.
Not only if Beale Street could talk, but I don't know if you watched the movie Project Power on Netflix.
Yes, I did. I finally got around to watching
It's
it.
by far the best part of that.
Oh yeah,
Of that
for
movie.
sure.
Like I'm so excited about this. Like, not just her as an actress, but also now we've got a Hispanic man and a black woman in the leads of one of the largest, like I'm talking financially, franchises in the
Yeah.
world.
For sure.
Like I think top like financial franchises you're looking at, it's like
Marvel.
it's like the MCU, Star Wars, Fast, and then this.
Fast and Furious, and then Transformers. Yeah,
I think
and
those are like your
then-
top four, and then like maybe like the Jurassic
Yeah.
franchise.
I mean,
after
I would
that.
just say like if you just count Batman
But-
as a thing, then
I-
probably that.
no, I'm like not even 'Cause,
Really.
Like how many of those have hit a bill? Hit a
Yeah,
billy?
it's true.
Like-
It's true.
Like I'm talking about how many of those have hit a billy?
Yeah.
when
And like
you're-
everyone knows the Transformers, whether you are aware of the lore or not.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what the
But that's what
Transformers
I'm
are.
talking about, like financially huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the Transformers franchise is gigantic. There's a reason they keep making these movies, even though, you know, between
They're
the
not
first
good.
between the first Transformers and Bumblebee, none of them were that good.
No,
You know,
nah.
but they
I
keep
still
making them
remember.
because people keep going to the theaters and watching them.
Yeah, it's because they got my ass when I was like a little kid going to go see these. Because I remember 2007 when the first one came out. It came out around the same time as Ratatouille, and my grandmother was like, "All right, Aiden, you want to go see Ratatouille?" And I was like, "Hell no, bitch! I want to go see Transformers. I don't know what the fuck you talking." My nigga Optimus Prime up on this. What the fuck do you mean? I want to go see a rat cook some ratatouille. Get the fuck out of here. Like, I made a whole deal about like, I don't want to go see Ratatouille. I want to go see Transformers. Fucking love Transformers. Then she took me a week later to go see Ratatouille. I'm a culinary student now, so we know how the fucking story went.
Yeah,
So that's how that went.
Yeah, I was gonna say, for those of you who don't know, Aiden is now a culinary student.
Yeah, so we know which one had a lasting impact on me. But you know, I've got a soft spot in my heart for Transformers. Um, Bumblebee was great. I really hope that we start moving down that direction of storytelling. I don't think we are, given the fact that it didn't make as much money as it should have.
If Bumblebee had been the first Transformers,
Oh,
I think
this
the
whole franchise would have
series
been completely
would
different.
have would have as a whole panned out
Yeah,
a little bit differently.
it would have been
Um,
crazy. I've actually got a couple of Transformers comics next to me because I've got a show coming up later. Um, I really want them to go. There's a whole other side note. I've got like weird like Tom Clancy ads popping up on my IMDb for like Michael B. Jordan. I would love to see it if they could eventually one day cross over the GI Joes and the Transformers. Like that would be sick.
I that was in the works.
I know. That's why I'm like, one day we could
Yeah,
finally get back to that.
it
And
it
actually, I was at the
was.
comic book store the other day, and they had, well, I was at Half Price Books, and they had some of the original run of Transformers and G.I. Joe for like $20 an issue. And I didn't have the money at the time. I went back 2 days later, and someone had like bought the whole run, and I was
Yeah,
so pissed. But anyways,
yeah. I mean, that was in the works until that second GI Joe film.
yeah. I mean, both those G.I. Joe movies were
The
kind of
first one was
trash.
fine. The second one, no.
The first one was fine, but like it needed to make like a bigger statement. You know what? Like it needed to be like, to me, I felt like it wasn't good enough for kicking off a new universe.
I
It wasn't good
Well,
enough
no.
for the
I
second one to be
honestly,
as bad as it was, if
I
that
think
makes sense.
I think it was fine at kicking off a new universe.
Okay.
That second one,
Yeah,
because
no.
for me, the first one doesn't have to like, and this is kind of what I've tried to explain to people how I feel about Mortal Kombat. The first one doesn't have to like explain the entire world to
Everything.
you. What it needs to do is make you interested enough to want to see more.
Hmm.
Because you can explain the entire world, but if the movie doesn't make me want to see more, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And I still to this day hold Iron Man as like one of the greatest Marvel movies, even though I don't like Iron Man. That first movie's great at just establishing like the context of the way this world works. It's literally our Earth, and as we progress with those characters, things get a little crazier after that. You know what I mean? And I just wish that
Yeah.
I wish other cinematic universes would follow along those lines of like, okay, let's ground it first, and then when the audience is comfortable, expand. But
Yeah.
regardless, Dominique Fishback joining the cast for this like really gets me intrigued, especially with
Yeah.
Anthony Ramos, because it's like, what did these two guys see that made them be like, okay, I'm willing to hop on this project? You know what I mean? Because they're doing things right now that I feel like this is definitely a move to like make them more household names, because right now they're still kind of low key in a
Yeah.
sense. But
I
I feel
mean,
like
in
right now they're being smart about what they want to do too.
in the industry, like Dominique Fishback, she is like well
Hmm.
established. Like,
Yeah.
and what I also think is interesting is for both of them, they come from more of like a theater background. Because Dominique Fishback is also a playwright. Like she's an award-winning playwright.
Yeah. She's a
So
talent, man.
like seeing this move, and this is, a lot of people complain about why there are so many like British and Australian actors coming into the United States and getting jobs. It's because they're classically trained.
Yeah, like
Where here in America, it's like, oh, you like have a ton of followers on TikTok, let's put you in a movie.
Yeah, it's literally like that Jake Paul or
Yeah,
Logan Paul, whichever one
yeah.
of those dudes, like
It's
airplane movie that they made. That's
yeah.
complete garbage. You
It's
know what I
it's stuff
mean?
like that. Like that's how people get into the industry here in the United
Yeah,
States. Where
that
it's
or
like
like Disney Channel and
it's
like Nickelodeon, and
well,
that's where
I'm not
people
gonna
start.
knock that because
No, I'm
like,
just saying like that. Those are like the biggest avenues for like people. I feel like in America to
but
like get
but
known.
yeah, but it's like it's not taking people who are necessarily classically trained, and pulling people from theater. You're gonna
Yeah,
get better performances. I feel like because you have classically trained actors.
yeah. Yeah, and it's not a knock on like Disney Channel or any of those. I mean, obviously today we have people like Zendaya. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? You know, and we got your boy Winston Marshall out here. You know what I mean? Like, there's
yeah,
people who have a lot of talent that are on those types of shows. So, but
yeah.
Dominic
That's
Fishback, that's a huge plus in my book.
But even then, a lot of the adults in those shows are classically trained
Yeah,
actors. It's more, I think you're pointing at more of the child actors
yeah, the young talent that they
who
bring
blow
in.
up, yeah, who blow up as children and then never have to go through going to acting school and going
Yep.
to acting class and things like that. And that's how you end up with, you know, your Bella Thornes and things
Oof.
like that and people who are like huge names and keep landing huge roles, but don't have any improvement in their
Yeah.
talent. Not that they're incapable of being talented actors or actresses, but they aren't improving.
Yeah.
Unlike with like Channing Tatum, like he improved
Yeah,
like
he's one of the biggest
so much.
representations for that. Where like starting off was shaky and then was
Yeah,
like, okay, I want to get better and got better. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That's why I was always like, I'll say this. So that thread that I did this week where it was like my top 10 superheroes, Loki Gambit is one of my favorite superheroes ever. I
same.
was so excited for that Channing Tatum Gambit movie, dude. I know everybody was talking shit about it. I thought Channing Tatum would have been a great Gambit.
I mean, I don't know how he would have done with the accent, but I think him as Gambit would have been fine.
Just wouldn't have wanted him to even try. Like I know that that's part of
Yeah,
the
and
character. I just wouldn't want him to try if it's gonna
that
be
would have
shitty.
been not having that. I wouldn't have felt as connected to the because that New Orleans is so in Gambit's
Yeah,
blood.
it is
Like
for sure.
it's necessary to have that accent.
If he could like even if it wasn't like completely exaggerated, because I feel like Gambit's New Orleans accent is like pretty exaggerated. If he could just find a way to like make it low key enough to where
Yeah,
it's like, okay, you know this guy is from New Orleans, like he talks with the slang, like he has that southern drawl to it, kind of. Gambit needs to sound like what Daniel Craig sounds like in Knives Out. That's what Gambit needs to sound like, almost.
I think that's a little much. I think have you and this is a lot of people if you're watching you're going to judge me for this, but have you ever watched the originals?
The originals? What is
Yeah.
that?
It's a show from the CW. It was like a sequel
Oh,
to
then
The
nope.
Vampire Diaries. Okay. It's set in New Orleans.
Hmm.
And there's a character that's introduced in like season 2, I think. His name's Vincent and he's a guy, he's like a New Orleans local witch. But I think him, the guy who plays him, I think his name is Yusuf Gatewood, I think is his name.
Hmm. Let me look him up.
He can do the accent because he did it in a very understated version of the accent. Like not
Hmm.
it wasn't the like what we're familiar with from the like 90s cartoon. It wasn't like that heavy, but he can do the accent.
This
And
guy just looks like he could be Gambit.
yeah, exactly. And I think it would be perfectly fine for Gambit to be black. I think that is
Yeah, I've
like
always said that. It
I've
doesn't
never
honestly it doesn't
I've
make sense for Gambit to
yeah,
be white.
I've never felt the need for Gambit to be white.
Gambit got Negro energy.
Like I've never felt on top of the fact that he's an adopted son, like that's the
Hmm.
perfect like he doesn't need to be he could be in that world full of white folks and not have to be white.
Yeah. Man, I would love to see a Gambit Disney Plus show, dude. That would be sick. Like a Gambit Disney Plus show focusing on like him and Mr. Sinister. Like Mr. Sinister being like, okay, you got to go clean up like the deviants that are like in the sewers because like I fucked up on my experiments.
Yeah.
Like that would be really cool. Anyways,
But we're
off
gonna
topic.
keep we're getting
This is
down
what we do here.
Yeah, we're
This is what we
getting
do
down
here.
we're off the rails already. We're kind of getting down a rabbit hole. We're gonna pull ourselves back out, get back into the casting. We're gonna keep on rolling with some casting news. And this is, I don't know how you feel about this, but Noah Centino has exited the Master of the Universe movie over at Sony. That I believe it was a Kevin Smith project, if I'm not mistaken.
I think Kevin Smith was working on the animated series that they were doing because Tiffany Smith got cast in it. He was doing like an animated thing, and I think there was something else.
I don't remember which he's working on or what he's working on.
No,
exactly,
this was.
but,
I think this was the fucking McG one, right? I think McG was working on this.
I don't know. Either way,
let me look it up.
I don't think this movie is getting made. Like, I'll just be honest. I don't think this movie is getting made. They have tried and tried and tried, and I just don't think that this movie is going to get made. Like, period. I just, yeah, Gio just said it in the chat. Kevin Smith is the animated.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out who the fuck is doing the live action one.
I don't know. It probably is. Well, I don't think it's McG. I think he was working on the previous version of the live action project.
Yeah, because I know Harloff has talked about it on Collider Live, where it was like he had written a treatment, submitted it, and then they had essentially taken his treatment and like given it to somebody else.
Yeah,
and I think they gave it to McG.
Yeah, him and Riley.
Yeah,
him and Mark Riley. This was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, like a long time ago.
But the McG then like basically like they just scrapped that whole project.
Yeah, they shat on it.
I don't know who's on it now. I have no idea, and that's part of the reason why I don't think this movie is ever going to get made. Because
if we can't find who the fuck is working on this movie's not happening, baby.
Yeah,
at least not anytime soon.
Like You can't even get anyone to stay on the project. Like that tells you that it's like not it's just it's in development hell, kind of like The Flash was. Although, we saw
I think The Flash is going to go on to production hell. I think that's what it has evolved to. I would not be surprised if we hear like ridiculous stories coming off the set of some of the things going on with like the studio and Andy revolving around that movie. Don't be surprised if in 5 years we hear fucking release the Muschietti cut hashtags on Twitter. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, bro.
But anyway,
it's Jesus. Yeah,
Noah, Centino, whoever.
Let's not get into that.
No. Listen, I'm one of these people. I'm open for anybody being cast as anybody for the most part, as long as it doesn't like fundamentally change the character. Like the Ryan Gosling playing Black Panther memes, that would not fucking work. You know what I mean? Like that completely changes the whole point of the character.
Yeah.
This, I'm like, okay, whatever, because I really don't know that much about He-Man, to be honest. I don't know how I felt about this casting. I was like, cool, like let him give a shot at it.
I don't know if he was cast as He-Man. I think he was cast as Prince Adam. So He-Man kind of has
difference?
Yeah, so He-Man kind of has a Shazam type thing going on where there's Prince Adam, who is a like skinnier, like less assuming. Mm-hmm. And then you've got He-Man, which is the muscle, like big dude that everyone is kind of more
like
familiar with.
The ripped one with like the weird like or brown kind of like
trunks
and like the chest
and the bandoliers.
Piece.
Yeah. So I don't know
with
if they had
haircut.
I don't think they had actually cast anyone as He-Man. I think he was cast as Prince Adam. So that makes sense. It makes sense as casting.
Yeah, I don't really care because I don't like Noah Centineo. Like I've seen a lot of his shit.
I think he's
fine. Trust me, I think it's shit. Like I'm gonna be honest, man. Nothing against him as a person. I don't know anything about this dude as a person. I don't know if he's good or not. I'm just not a fan.
I think he's fine in all of the roles that he's been in. I've seen him in. He's he's good. I do think that out of all of the people, and I mean this goes to some larger problems in Hollywood, of all of the people that kind of blew up out of from All the Boys. I can never remember the actual
So
like
all
the
the boys I
I-
fucked before. P.S. I don't love you.
yeah, like
Whatever
I
it's
can never
called.
remember like the actual name, but from that like trilogy of films, the fact that Jordan Fisher and Lana Condor weren't the ones that blew up and got like multi-picture deals from Netflix,
Mhm.
like baffles me. Like I don't understand how, like, because out of the three of them, those are the two most charismatic people
Yeah.
in those films. Um
I mean, we both, given our last episode, or was it our last episode? Maybe the week before that episode of Desertman Live. I mean, we're both big Jordan Fisher fans, so I don't
yeah,
understand why that dude hasn't like blown up the way he should.
yeah. Like
I'm happy that he
he's
got cast as Bart on the
yeah.
Flash though, because that's gonna give him a lot of recognition.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna start watching The Flash again just
Yeah, I'm gonna
because of
watch
that.
that. I want to see it.
Like only
I
because
love
of
Bart
that, I'm
Allen
gonna
too,
start watching The Flash
especially
again.
because like I grew up with like those huge like encyclopedias of like DC and Marvel characters, and I would literally just read them like front to back. I've forgotten a lot of the shit that's in them, but like Bart always stuck out to me because I was always into like the kids, because I was
Yeah.
a kid. So like to me, Bart was a kid. So I was like, okay, I'm into that character.
Yeah. Like I kind
Pump
of
with
fell
that.
off of The Flash once Kenyon Lionsdale left as
Mhm.
Wally. Like I was like, oh, well, okay, I'm out. Like,
I wasn't into it after the first season, so like I just stopped
yeah.
watching. Like it
I
just
mean,
wasn't for
it
me.
was fine, but I really like Kenyon Lionsdale as Wally, and I
Yeah,
mean, I like him as an actor in all, like pretty much everything he's in as well. But, um, but yeah, like I don't think
I
this
don't
movie's gonna
care.
get made. So
Yeah, I
like
just don't care about
for the
this.
most part, this is kind of like a non-starter for me. It's like, okay, it's just another reason why I don't think this movie's gonna get made.
Yeah,
Um, but moving into some more positive, you know what? Real quick, I'm gonna address some stuff in the chat. Um,
sure.
so I already said who I would pick as Gambit. So Legoland asked who you would want as Gambit. I think that the guy said Yusuf Gatewood from the originals.
Yeah,
He plays Vincent. I think he would make a great. Um, I think he would make a great Gambit. Like, I think he's like perfect.
I genuinely don't have anyone off the top of my head. I do like that pick a lot that you just gave. I'd actually have to like sit down and think about that.
Yeah, it's hard because like you have to have that like he's got to be like super charismatic, but also like be able to
Yeah.
portray like the
Like
viciousness
you
of
can't
Gambit.
fuck up with Gambit's casting.
Yeah,
Like to me, Gambit is one like you have to nail it.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Taylor Kitsch, not it, bro. Sorry.
No,
Like I'm a fan,
and
but you're not it.
what's crazy is I'm not totally against him as Gambit, but it just didn't fit in that movie,
No, it did not.
and that put a bad taste in my. I was like, nope, this isn't it,
Yeah.
because
It's all
he's
like
like
I
in the
really
wrong
hold
movie.
Gambit up and like
Yeah,
Gambit was my favorite X-Men character for a long time, and
I
then Wolverine kind of became my favorite.
I will criticize the next Wolverine casting less than I will like
Yeah,
scrutinize Gambit,
agreed.
because
Especially because like
Gambit has always been my favorite
yeah,
X-Men
because he's
character.
fucking cool. Like he's just cool. He's charismatic. Like he's the ladies' dude. You know what? Like he's all the things that like as a kid growing up, I was like, that's a cool fucking guy. And like the stupid like weird like head leotard thing that he wears is awesome with like
Yeah,
the brown trench coat. Like I always thought his powers were really cool.
yeah.
There's a
His powers
there's
are
a,
ridiculous.
there's a comic line that shows what Gambit would have been if he had never gotten his powers nerfed by Mr. Sinister. That version of Gambit is
No,
like damn
okay,
near
I
Dr.
know,
Manhattan,
I know what
bro.
you're talking about. You're talking about when he becomes so his powers are actually limited. They're limited by Mr. Sinister, but then they're limited again by
Hmm.
Xavier because for a while after the entire thing goes down with the Morlocks in the sewers and him and Rogue finally kiss, and then Rogue finds out about his involvement with the massacre. He goes to Apocalypse and becomes one of the Horsemen of Death for
Yeah.
Apocalypse. And as you know, Apocalypse always
Boost it, baby.
he boosts powers, and he removes the limit that Mr. Sinister had put on Gambit.
Hmm.
And then Gambit is then able to basically use his powers on things that he didn't touch just with his mind. And
Yeah.
he is an Omega level mutant.
Yeah.
And most people
Because that
don't
was
realize
his power. Was like
Yeah.
because now we know where you see him with the playing cards. Like he's got to touch the card to charge it with kinetic energy.
And he
It
can
used to be
also-
he could just look at some shit and be
he
like,
also
boom,
and he also can't do it to organic matter.
Yeah.
Which
And like
that,
there's
that
a
also is removed. But then like after his whole like run with Apocalypse, Xavier
Yeah.
puts that limit back onto him, and like now it's more like a mental thing than anything else. But like
yeah.
his
In that
powers
one story
are-
I told
are
you about,
insane.
in that one story I told you about, he can like channel that kinetic energy into his own body to the point where he can turn his body into kinetic energy.
Yeah.
And it's nuts. Like literally you cannot stop this dude.
Yeah.
Like that's how fucking wild he is. Like Gambit is a really fucking cool character that I wish would get more respect. But anyways,
absolutely.
I don't know why we're talking about Gambit today, but I'm happy about it.
I'm also all for it.
I love Gambit so much, dude.
And then I just want to address Cinema Guerrilla. Always comes in and is talks about like representation
Yeah.
in the media. And I'm just gonna say I don't have a problem with them casting Guy as like their first announcement, because Guy is one that it's that one's kind of an easier casting.
Mhm.
Guy is less familiar with people outside of the hardcore like Green Lantern
Yeah.
fans. They have to be very careful with how they cast Jon Stewart, because I think
Yes.
that's a big reason they cut him from, like, they were insistent on Zack Snyder not leaving him in the Snyder cut,
Yeah.
because, and I think the big reason is because they plan to use him in the show, but they have to be, because for most people, Jon Stewart is Green Lantern because they grew up with Justice League.
Yeah, that's me.
You know, like,
Justice League was my first introduction to the
They
character.
have to get him right. If they fuck up Jon Stewart, that the show is a non-starter for, I would say, 80% of people.
Yeah.
So I think
You know what
that's
pisses me off about people who like fan cast Jon Stewart? They just
cast
like
the same people. Like over
they
and over
cast
and
the
over again.
same 3 black guys over
Yeah.
and over and over again, and I get so tired of it. Newsflash for all the fucking white people out there: if there's a black character, it doesn't have to be Idris Elba. I'd like to say that it doesn't have to be Idris Elba. Why does it always? And Idris Elba's a fucking king, bro. Like sexy as fuck. Like shout out to Idris Elba, bro. Like you hold it down, dog. I'd like to go on a date with you, but like it don't have to be Idris Elba every fucking time. It doesn't have to be Idris Elba every fucking time, dude.
It doesn't have to be Idris. It doesn't have to be Michael B. Jordan, and it doesn't have to be Yahya Abdul-Mateen. Like,
by the way, Michael B. Jordan is not playing Superman.
all three are fantastic. I love everything they do, but it doesn't have to be one of those three. Like and it doesn't have to be Daniel Kaluuya or
Kaluuya.
Lakeith Stanfield. Like, holy
Oh my gosh,
fuck,
Lakeith Stanfield.
there are other. Like, there are other actors out there in the world. It doesn't have to be anyone that we know.
No.
Like, it doesn't have to be anyone we know. Like, period. Go out
Also,
and
for anybody who's casting kid adventure movies, it doesn't have to be Finn Wolfhard every time either. for the white side of things,
Or
because white people always got to get in the mix somehow.
or Jacob Tremblay,
Jacob
like
Tremblay. It doesn't have to be him either.
like
Fuck off.
there's a whole world full of people that could fill the roles. Like, I think a great Jon Stewart would be and again, I hate to go back to the originals, but I think his name is Charles Michael Davis. He plays Marcel Gerard. Like, this dude just, it's like a fucking good looking dude. Like, he just looks like a fucking superhero. Like, he looks like that,
bro.
like,
He looks like Jon Stewart.
yeah, he just looks like Jon Stewart. When you like look at him, you're like, yeah, I see it.
Yeah, especially if he's got like that deep, like, voice that like
Yeah,
voice that feels like it's got knowledge behind it. Like, that's the thing that Jon Stewart, like, Jon Stewart feels like when you're talking to him, he's got knowledge.
Yeah.
Like, he's seen some shit.
Yeah.
So, like, don't fucking question
like
him.
I feel like he would be a really good Jon Stewart, and he's got the acting ability to do it.
Also doesn't have to be, what's his name, Giancarlo Esposito for everything. It doesn't have to be Bryan Cranston for every bald white man role. It doesn't, like let's stop doing this, people. Like, as someone who is starting a whole fan casting show now, I would like to say, nominating myself for one of the leaders in the world of this fan casting bullshit. Stop doing the same fucking shit all the time. Like, stop doing it.
Like, you remember so everyone, if you haven't checked it out, go check out our episode from 2 weeks ago, where we fan casted the Fantastic Four. You remember what I told you was going to be the first critique that I got about my casting for Benita Grimm?
Yep.
And it was literally the first thing that got said. It was like, Ben Grimm's supposed to be Jewish. And I was like, I didn't say that the character's not Jewish. Yeah. I just said that the character is a woman. That's all I said.
Yeah.
Period.
Hashtag stop doing it.
Last time I checked, there are Jewish women in the world.
Yeah.
So, like, I was like, bro, why are you coming into this adding me about the character not being Jewish? And I was like, y'all just have no, like, vision.
Yeah. Hashtag stop doing it. Hashtag make Daniel Day-Lewis Galactus. And we'll keep it moving from there. We'll keep it moving from there.
Let's keep it moving from there. But yes, if we could get Daniel Day-Lewis in the MCU, that's where you get him.
That's where you get him.
Either as Galactus or Silver Surfer.
Yeah, I'm down.
Because he could be the character. He could do the character like model.
Daniel Day-Lewis is going to shave his eyebrows, shave his head, strip naked, and spray paint himself chrome if they casted him as the Silver Surfer, and would do nothing but surf for a year in preparation for the movie.
But he's one of the few actors that could like be the voice of the Silver Surfer and the like the model of the Silver Surfer, because he looks like Silver Surfer.
It's coming soon. I'm telling you.
Anyways. All right. Talking about some more MCU stuff. The Disney Plus series Ironheart, they have their head writer. And once again, I am very, very pleased that they've matched their head writer with their main character. So this is a show all about a black woman. Well, I think she's gonna be an adult by the time we meet her in the show. We might.
It could be. I think it's probably gonna be like around.
She might still be a teenager,
age,
but
like I think it's probably gonna be like around my age, like 21-ish.
Because in obviously in the comics when we meet Riri Williams, she's still in like high school, I think.
Yeah.
But they have a black woman as the head writer. They have gotten Chinaka Hodge as the head writer for Ironheart, which, look, say what you will about comic book casting and some of this stuff, the MCU is starting to do the right thing, I think, very importantly, in the writer's room and behind the camera. They've started to not just have diversity on screen in front of the camera, but behind it as well. And look, I'm not saying that we don't have room to improve and there isn't more work to be done, but we're moving in the right direction. You know, it's encouraging when you look at what Marvel is doing with their diversity. It's encouraging. It's not discouraging where you look at other studios and it's like, you're not making any progress.
Yeah. I mean, literally looking at what we've already gotten in phase 4 and then just looking at like what we do know about that's upcoming in phase 4. There's a lot of women, there's a lot of colored people, and I'm very happy about that. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you and I share this. I think Falcon and Winter Soldier is the best thing we've ever seen Marvel do. And I think we also agree, you brought it up, it's the best thing Disney's done. Yeah. And if we're continuing that trend, I'm so excited for Armor Wars. I'm so excited for Ironheart because I know now that Marvel is going to get people that are the right people to be the voices for these characters. And I could not be happier seeing that moving forward.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that DC needs to do when it comes to like their Static Shock movie and anything like that moving forward. If they do a Jessica Cruz project, they need to have the people that understand where those characters could be coming from speaking for them. You know what I mean? I don't want a white man writing a Miles Morales movie. You know, I don't want that. You know, I want a writer's room with black men, black women, black non-binary people, Puerto Rican men, Puerto Rican women, Puerto Rican non-binary. Like, I want that writer's room. Yeah. I want the people that understand that character's experience. And like, we're getting that with Ironheart. And I already know Ironheart is going to get so much backlash from racist white people who view Ironheart as disrespecting Tony Stark's legacy, and it's just going to be complete bullshit. Fuck those people. I already know that they're coming. But for the people that are like us, that are open-minded and are looking forward to this series, I could not be happier for that.
I mean, and not just Ironheart, but also Miss Marvel. The fact that they got an entire, like the entire creative team behind that is all from like Middle Eastern descent. I don't want to say specific countries or ethnicities because I don't know I don't know if everyone is the same or if they're all like, I don't know each individual's ethnicity and background, but I know that they are all they are the right people that should be writing for, I believe she's a Pakistani, like American.
Yes.
Right. But they're getting the right people that identify and can understand where the origins of the human, not the origins of the superhero.
And I feel bad too, because like I know everyone has like criticized the fact that like the girl that they cast is like actually like Christian. And I'm like, come on, man. Like, it's acting, you know what I mean? Like, as like, to me, the ethnicity has to match first. You know, it not to like sound like disrespectful, but it's like religion for the most, like a lot of religions are religions that you can practice. You can self-practice into learning what they are. And you know what I mean? Like the way Tupac converted, you know what I mean? I know a lot of my friends who've become Jewish, you know what I mean? Like that's a thing that happens in real life. So like it's acting, guys. You know?
For me, I tried to explain this to somebody the other day. It was a friend of mine who's white, and we were talking about some of the anti-Semitic stuff that's been like going on recently. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to explain to them how it's not the same as some of the racism that like me and you and like other people of color. I hate using the fucking term people of color, but I don't know how to talk about all.
There's no way to like bring us all in the fold.
Not all non-white people like experience, because I was I was explaining it like this. It's like, is anti-Semitism right? No. Is there anti-Semitic violence? Yes. But that stuff only happens after you make it known that you are Jewish.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot hide the fact that I'm black.
Nope.
Like, and I'm not saying that you should hide that you are Jewish, but the difference is people don't see you and automatically go Jewish.
Yeah.
They see you and they go white. Whereas that is a very different, perspective for all of the characters that we're talking about. So like, well, even though the actress that's going to be playing Miss Marvel isn't Muslim, like she still has had to experience a lot of those same prejudices and has a lot of those same experiences because people see her and they see what they see. They don't see.
They think she looks a certain way and they just judge her based on that. Exactly. And I'm sure that that's like a lot of what she's going to bring to the character.
And that's kind of what needs to come to the character, not necessarily because all of the respect for Muslim traditions are things that she can be taught and things that can be
sure
learned. Like and I would hope as an actress she would have the respect to learn those things that would be important to her character and translate them faithfully in the project. That's part of being a good actor.
It's the same thing. I mean, I saw this video the other day. This little boy, he was watching, like his dad recorded him watching the Shang-Chi trailer.
Yeah.
And it was like one of the cutest fucking things I'd ever seen for a kid to literally look at the screen and be like, I can see myself being fully represented on the screen. You know what I mean? And to see that, like it's so pure whenever you see children because children are just so pure in their reactions, whether they're negative or positive. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's things like that I'm so excited that we're finally getting. You know what I mean? Like, I've got a lot of Black women that I'm friends with that I'm sure the moment they see this Ironheart series, they're going to fall in love with that character. You know what I mean? The same way that they've fallen in love with characters like Monica Rambeau from WandaVision. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's things like that like are coming to the MCU that make me excited and make me happy to be a comic fan, because you and I know comics have been political forever.
Yeah.
Like comics have always been pretty open about talking about social issues.
They've been political since the day Captain America punched Hitler in the face, which is day one. That's day one.
Like, better dye that hair red? What does that mean?
He's talking about the guy playing Guy. Because Guy has red hair, and the guy.
I'll be honest with you guys. Like, if he has red hair or not, I kind of don't care, as long as he like matches that like douchebag energy.
I mean, I think he's gonna have red hair.
Yeah, I think he will.
My funny thing is on the Deadline article, the Guy's not even in the picture that they paired with with it.
Is it really?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it's the front is Hal Jordan. And then he's got a bunch of the lanterns behind him, but Guy isn't even in the picture.
Oh, Deadline. which one of you old ass hit people?
Go back to the
I'm
article.
Looking at it.
But I'm pretty sure Guy isn't even in the picture.
I gotta find that shit now.
They just used a Green Lantern that kind of looks like the guy who is cast.
Let's see. Yeah, it's.
Yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure it's Hal.
It's just Hal Jordan and a bunch of other great, like Kyle's in there, John's in there.
Yeah,
Guy Gardner is nowhere in there.
Yeah, I thought that was funny, and I was like, this is how you tell that this was set up by someone who is not a fan of the comics
at all.
Yeah,
jeez, man. Anyways,
but yeah, so like I'm so pumped for. Like, Ironheart is one that I'm really, really, really excited about because I'm ready for the two smartest people in the MCU to be Black women.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I am so fucking ready for that.
That's why we got to race bend the Fantastic Four, baby. I ain't trying to see another smart white man for another 10 years in the MCU. I could do without, baby.
Yeah, like we don't need more of that, because I honestly think like it'd be fine if like Doom is a white man. That's fine,
Yeah,
because
I don't care.
it kind of fits where he's from. You know,
You don't
that's
see
fine.
him anyways. You know what? Like you're
Well, I
gonna.
mean,
It's just gonna be the dude with like the mask on.
yeah,
I assume for the most part.
yeah, for the most part, I think once he gets the mask, you're never gonna see his face again.
Yeah.
But up until that, it's fine for him to be white, because like he's from, you know, that Eastern European like
Yeah.
like area. He's from the mountains of Caucasus, as Raul would put it. But like that, so like it makes sense. But cool, if you want to make that smart guy white, fine. But like, let's give us some smart people that we're gonna see moving forward as, you know, on the Avengers team that are white, or not white.
Yeah.
Sorry. Let's
We know
give
what
us
you mean.
smart, non-white
Yeah.
superheroes. Like I'd really, really, really love to see that,
Yeah.
because
Looking at the future lineup, man, I'm excited, you know.
Like-
And people talk about it all the time. Nova is inevitable. It's gonna happen. You know what I mean? To bring in another person who's not white, you know what I mean, would be great. You know, I'm very excited for where things are moving forward in the MCU. And Kevin Feige talking a lot recently about how right now things may seem like a little unclear, but like as the stories unfold and we see where we're moving forward in our next build, like we're at the beginning phases of our next saga, you know what I mean? And I'm excited to see where those stories take us with, with characters who represent the world.
Yeah, we are at, you know, we are at the Iron Man, Thor, Incredible Hulk stage of the next, you know, arc of the MCU. So like,
I mean, imagine how badass it's going to be if it's like we get Battle World, you know what I mean? And like essentially like picture like a portal scene, Patriot, Sam Wilson, Captain America, you know, Miss Marvel, Nova, you know, like you see all Shang-Chi, all these characters come, you know, Ironheart, you know what, like imagine all of that, dude. Like that would be amazing. I'm pumped, dude.
I'm so excited.
And if you fucking dare bring back Wiccan and you don't at all ever bring up the fact that it is a gay character, I will lose so much fucking respect.
Yeah.
So much respect. I need to see Hulkling and Wiccan. I need to see it. But anyways.
So real quick in the chat, we've got Jesse Swift. He's bringing up some Fantastic Four casting. Jesse, if you haven't already, please go check out, and actually anyone who hasn't checked it out already, go check out our episode from 2 weeks ago where we fan casted the Fantastic Four. We both had some really interesting picks across the board. And it's
I'm gonna get the
funny.
link to that episode and see if I can put it in the chat for people who want to go check it out.
No, I'll do that. You vamp for a second, because I think it'll time you out for doing it.
But while Dwayne's doing that, it's a great episode. For the first hour, we kind of talked about wrestling. If you're not that big of a wrestling fan, you probably aren't going to like the conversation. But it was a really good conversation that I felt like we have. I feel like everyone should go listen to that. But we had a lot of fun doing the fan casting. We both had really good picks. I kind of pitched what I would like to see as a Fantastic Four movie. It's never going to get made. I would love to see it get made. It's never going to get made. If they do, I would fucking respect them. Shout out to Kevin Feige for watching Desert Men Live. You're a real one. Fucking hire one of us, please. We deserve it.
Yeah, so I just dropped the link in the chat. So please, after this episode, or if you're watching on the replay after this episode, please go watch that episode if you haven't already. And that reminds me of something that I need to get better at, and going in and putting the time codes in descriptions so that you guys have chapters, so you can scroll to the topics that you want to listen to once we do this.
Once the episode's over.
Yo, Jesse, Aiden, I believe, is working on a fan casting show, and because he's doing that, I don't want to step on his toes and do the same thing here on this channel.
Let me go see.
But he said he'd love to come fan cast.
Yeah,
Johnny Cage,
we talked about it a little bit. We're like, before I had brought that up, where it was like maybe we could bring that back when like news weeks are slow on Desertman Live. You know what I mean? Like I'm not
Yeah,
opposed to like doing that. Like I feel like that would be a lot of fun. But
but
Jesse, I'm gonna go ahead and fucking plug it. Uh, Go check out my Patreon, patreon.com/Aiden Kossick. The new month starts tomorrow, so if you want to wait till tomorrow, that's perfectly fine. I've got 2 or 3 brand new shows that are launching next month, as well as every Friday, you are guaranteed to get at least one movie commentary. So if you just want to join at like the $4 tier, that is more than enough content for the whole month. I try to make it so that way you're only paying like $1 per week. I feel like that's fair enough. So if you want to go check that out, definitely keep your eyes on that. Next week, I'll go ahead and say it since you're talking about it. I'm doing, we're pitching Captain America 4, what we want to see for Captain America 4. So definitely go check that out.
but okay, so
you want to talk about these last 2 trailers?
I mean, we could talk about them real quick.
Yeah.
And then we can talk about the Oscars real quick because we're running short on time. Both of us have other stuff.
We got things to do.
That we've got other stuff that we've got to get to today. Our Fridays have become a lot busier than when we first started the show. But real quick, so we got a trailer for Luca that I watched just before the show started. It was fine. I think that it was not a great trailer to release second.
No.
It didn't really. The first trailer was so good. This kind of just like flattened out my expectations for the movie. It kind of felt meh, and almost made me want to watch the movie a little bit less.
I'm gonna be honest. I stopped watching the trailer.
Yeah,
like I watched half of it and I just stopped watching because I was like,
yeah,
this isn't doing anything to move the needle for me in a positive way, and I still want to like be slightly surprised when I watch the movie. So I kind of just stopped watching it, especially because you and I talked about like a lot of the queer themes that it feels like they're going for in the movie.
I felt the same way. The only reason I kept watching it is because we were going to talk about it. So I was like, I have to watch it.
And I'll be honest, I'm the guy who cheated. I stopped watching it.
But yeah, it I had the same feeling. About halfway through, I was like, I don't want to watch the rest of this. Like I was like, this isn't moving it in a positive way for me. Like that first trailer was so good. It was so good, and this just didn't have the same like energy. It didn't breathe the same amount of life into the project as that first one had. So I didn't really like it.
Yeah.
Now to the other trailer, the big trailer that dropped this week. Look. If you're just going to cut the lead of your movie out of your trailer, you might as well just reshoot the damn thing.
Yeah.
You got time to do
so
reshoots.
Much time.
You got time to do reshoots. Like, why are you, like...
So for any of you guys who don't know, Ansel Elgort is a complete piece of shit. Has been accused, and this is one of those ones I feel it in my bones to know it to be true. Sexual assault allegations.
I mean, not just that, but also like grooming minors and
grooming minors.
Just some real like real.
Baby Driver is the most unwatchable movie in Hollywood, is what we'll say. Yeah. Like you cannot go back and watch Baby Driver anymore. I'm sorry, people. It does not. Yeah. I cannot watch the movie the same at all anymore. Yeah.
Which
Ansel Elgort's the lead of this film.
Yeah.
And he's a bad person.
He's in one shot in the trailer. Doesn't even
like half a second.
And if I remember right, he doesn't even speak, and it's like they just are like just blow right by it.
The star of this movie is going to be Rachel Zegler.
I don't know how they're going to cut the movie now. Like, I don't know how that's going to work.
Is it going to be her POV now for the movie? I don't know.
Like now that they because obviously the trailer like makes me feel like. The trailer makes me feel like they're gonna cut around him as well, like in the movie, but then that like kind of completely destroys the story of the movie.
Yeah, I'm
so like
I don't care. Like this is the thing. I don't need to see West Side Story like be remade. Like I don't care either. To be honest,
I mean I didn't need this at all.
Like
I think it
Spielberg's just doing shit that doesn't interest me.
I think it looks good.
Yeah.
Like, as far as looks, I don't mean like it looks like it's going to be good. It just looks good.
Yeah.
But if you completely cut around your lead, how the fuck are you gonna tell this story?
Like, what? How are audiences supposed to be like, oh man, West Side Story, baby?
Yeah,
I don't.
I
I don't
don't
care.
I don't know why they didn't just recast and reshoot.
I don't either, man.
Like,
The comments in the chat got me rolling too.
yeah,
Going off on Ansel. That's another thing. I'm really happy that like we've done this show to a point now where like a lot of you guys are being really interactive with us in the chat. Like we really appreciate that. Like we love
yeah.
it that you guys can like chime in the conversation with us. Like unless like you're kind of like an asshole, then you know, fuck you. But you know, y'all, everyone in the chat today, no asshole vibes. Y'all are all good vibes.
Yeah,
So appreciate it.
today the chat was nice. You know, it wasn't pitching Martin Luther King as a white man.
Oh Jesus.
if
We in the
you
show?
remember, if you remember that chat that I got.
Oh boy, that 24-hour stream was wild.
Yeah. Yes,
It was that stream the stream that birthed this show.
I think so. It might have been. But yes, Lego, like, wait for In the Heights. Like, In the Heights is, yeah.
Yeah.
Just wait for In the Heights.
Transformers.
It's not made by a white man. It doesn't have white leads.
Yeah.
You know, just wait for In the Heights. Like, just wait for.
Wait for the superior musical to come out.
Well, I'm not gonna say that. Because
I'm
West
saying
Side-
it just because
West
I'm like
Side's-
fuck Ansel Elgort. That's
Well-
the only reason
well,
I'm saying it.
Okay. I was just
Not
I was
like
talking about,
actually.
like, yeah, I was talking about like West Side. I
No.
thought you were saying like West Side Story
No.
versus
no.
In the Heights. Like I was like
Nah.
I'm not ready to go that far.
I've never
But-
seen In the Heights because wasn't it actually like a musical
Yeah.
that they are adapting?
it
Yeah,
was
I've
a
never seen
Broadway-
it.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
Broadway
I've never
show.
seen it. I've seen West Side Story too many times, so I just kind of don't care. But In the Heights, you know, I'm looking forward to it. I'm not over the moon looking forward to it the way I feel like a lot of my friends are, but like
I'm not-
I will be there for it.
I'm
you
not
know?
either because I'm not a huge musicals person.
Yeah, me neither.
But I'm down to watch it. So,
Yeah, I've seen Cats too many times, man.
oh Jesus Christ.
Bro. Listen, bro. You just sit down, have a beer, smoke some weed,
No,
watch
what I-
Cats.
What I need you to do is go find the old like pro shot so that's what I watched when I was a kid. My parents
Oh,
had,
like the actual the
Yeah.
actual theater productions.
yeah.
Ooh.
So it's like a 3 VHS. Like that shit was longer than Titanic, bro. Like
What?
yeah, like Titanic was a 2 VHS
Jeez,
set,
man.
and this was like a 3 VHS set. I think it was like 3 or 4. Like that shit is long, bro. But yeah, like my parents had that when I was a kid. My dad made me watch that shit, and that shit is rough.
the
It's rough.
like second to last comment that just popped up in the chat.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Anyways, but yeah, I know what you're talking about because I used to have like DVDs on DVDs of like different like Broadway musicals and stuff, and like I had like
Yeah.
Stomp on like 5
Yeah.
discs for some reason.
Yeah.
I feel like
Oh,
everyone
man.
had that phase where like they had to watch Stomp at school in like their
Yep.
musical class.
Yep.
But anyways,
But
it
all
was
right,
a good show
so,
today.
Yeah, it was a good show.
I got
I-
a show in 15 minutes,
Yeah.
so we gotta go.
Yeah, I was gonna say we have one last topic, but I think that anyone who's watching this show has probably heard enough about the Oscars in the past
Yeah.
week and just how atrociously that was handled.
Yeah.
I think we both are on the same page that. Yo, man, like that was
Literally,
not the
Dwayne
move.
put in the notes for our show today, Oscars dash ha 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 in all caps. So
Yeah,
that's kind of how we feel about it.
that was it. That was the note. Like I didn't even put a link to any articles or anything. I was just like Oscars, ha 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 ha, because like that was a fucking joke.
Yeah, it really was. Like
Like-
it's Like, why on earth would you switch
I mean,
best movie
I
with
understand.
best actor if you don't give it to Chadwick?
Well, that's one of the things that is kind of the problem with the way the show is set up. The producers have no idea who won, right? So if you
Yeah.
don't know, don't make that switch, because then you have like what happened. And then on top of that, they didn't let Anthony Hopkins do a Zoom call in for his acceptance speech. And it's like, yo, he is 80 fucking years old.
Yeah.
And you're going to tell this man in the midst of a pandemic where he is in the highest risk, category, you're going to tell him to get on a plane, travel to Los Angeles and get in a room with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
No.
Who've been actively working.
Yeah, no.
No.
Like, that is absolutely unacceptable.
Yeah.
Like, they just played it wrong from every angle, and I think that's all we have to say about it. So
The
Aiden,
memes of Joaquin Phoenix going, and the Oscar goes to Anthony Hopkins. Have a good night.
yeah, like,
And then the show
what?
ends.
Yeah, I was like, they got off the air so fast. They were like, get off the air now.
Yeah.
Like,
Jeez.
it was just so awkward and uncomfortable.
I want to see the
Like,
control room so bad.
Yeah,
In that moment.
Yo, man.
But
Yo.
anyways, you guys can find me anywhere and everywhere at Aiden Kossick in literally 14 minutes from now, from the point where we are at this point in time. My comic book haul show with a good friend of mine, Alex, is going to be starting over on my Patreon. Patrons will get it a week early. But if you guys can't get on my Patreon, I understand. Look forward on my YouTube channel next week. It will be releasing next Friday at 5 p.m. But my Patreon is patreon.com/Aiden Kossick. So, yeah.
And you guys can find me anywhere and everywhere on the internet at BurkeMade. If I'm on a platform, that's where you're going to find me. Please, if you haven't already, like the video. After the video goes or finishes being live, please drop a comment below. Share. If you haven't already, subscribe and turn notifications on so that you can be back here next week for Dessert Men Live, as well as my show Technical Difficulties on Wednesdays, where I show you how to do all of the broadcast engineering things that I do. And yeah, that's about all the stuff that I'm working on. I mean, all the other projects, if you're familiar and you want to check them out, you can follow me on Twitter, and it's easy to find all the other things I'm working on. But thank you everyone so much for coming today. Like, today was actually one of our best days, like with the chat, and like it was so much fun having everyone in the chat interacting with us. We really do appreciate it. Please keep coming back.
Yeah, for sure. Tell your friends about us.
And we will see you guys next week with another episode of Dessert Men Live. Treat yourself.